Today, on the early morning show, our very first YouTube video, she suckered you. Let's cue the rooster and get this show started.
Every time I need that shit, devil make another.
Hey man, if you got something that you believe in and you believe that you can do it and nobody else do, just go for it. It's your life.
My life is moving fast, I gotta slow it down. Yeah, now I got it, they all come around. But when I ain't have it, they nowhere to be found. Yeah, I had to stick with the ones who stay down. And now a lot of people say I changed on them, because I'm whipping in the range on them. I don't think I'm acting different, I just found out that these folks ain't in my interest.
Hey guys, I'm not in the classroom today, but we're going to teach you on this subject. And today we're talking about how she suckered you. Why the women you choose to love will destroy your life. So you chose to love this girl, you know. And by the time it's over, you can't even pick up the pieces of your life. It's so destroyed. So let's get into it. Today, since I'm not in the classroom, I'm not going to be able to write on my dry erase board, so I brought my notes with me, so I don't miss not one bit. I always like to teach and don't leave anything out. Okay, so there's an old saying. You remember that you can't change a hoe into a housewife? Well, let me tell you something, brother. That is for real. So males are attracted to sex long before the relationship, even though they're thinking more broadly. You know, this is the right woman I married or took into my house, but it's not that way. You're attracted to sex. In a lot of cases, it's that old saying, you cannot change a hoe into a housewife. Okay, so to avoid this, you want to give her a 30-day test. 30 days, you can find out anybody's humanity. I don't care if they're male or female. They cannot hold a facade for over 30 days. Now, during that 30 days, you can overlook what they do. That's when you get in trouble. But the average woman cannot hold a facade beyond 30 days. So don't let this person into your house before the 30 days is out. It doesn't matter if she invites you to her house, you guys go to a hotel or eat out, I don't care. But don't invite her to your house before the 30 days. Therefore, you won't have the Tampax under the sink. You won't have something in your medicine cabinet. You won't have knickknacks in your bedroom, whatever it is. My grandfather always told me, he says, people come to your house and they leave something. Why? Because they plan on coming back to get it. So hold off for 30 days is the first thing you need to do. Okay, and this way you can find out if she's the right one or just a one-night stand. Because you don't want to take a one-night stand to death do you part. You don't want to put a ring on that. Because that's all you're going to have 40, 50 years sideways is a one-night stand to death do you part. And without the sex, you have to take that out because it's not going to happen. Okay. So what you're actually dealing with when you think you are in love with an unreal woman is an addiction. What you're dealing with when you're not really in love with the woman that's just for sex is an addiction. I'm not saying that you're addicted to her, that you're addicted to sex. See, females always get a male with sex first. If you want to sell a product, you want to get what the person is driving at. See, males have money, so they're not selling sex. For women, her vagina is currency, so she's selling that. You guys are doing an exchange for cash for product. But in the case for males, since they get a dopamine rush when they have sex, it becomes an addiction. So you are addicted to her vagina, and you're feeding into your addiction. And that overrides your mind. That's why you can leave her outside the home for 30 days. Okay. So you don't want to be under a spell for sex. So after the ring, you will have your first awakening. Okay? When everything changes and she's not the person you thought she was anymore. The second awakening is going to come after your divorce and all your shit's going out the door with her, or you're going out the door and she's going to keep your house and your children, and another guy's going to come into that home. So it's a first awakening and a second awakening. Try to get at the first awakening before the ring goes on, before you invite somebody in your home. Because, take for example, as I'm teaching you today, there's a lot of things that the women in your life do that you wouldn't tolerate from any dude. And that's what causes the most angst with guys after the ring or after she moves in with you. Because you get so mad at this woman because the things that you're mad about, you wouldn't even tolerate this from a guy. So that's what's going to piss you off. It's not going to be her. It's that you have never tolerated these things in your entire life. It's going to piss you off. Okay, let's go to the next one. You see, sex with women is nothing more than a tool to exchange for currency. In other words, she is the dope pusher and you are the paying addicted person. Okay? And she will use that in her entire relationship, even when the sex runs out. Let me move on. Next thing. Ask yourself, who benefits most when you go out to buy something with your money? So say you have your paycheck. In life, whenever you spend your money, there's going to be two people that benefit. Take your money and go to a burger place. Once you eat the burger, see, McDonald's is going to benefit for your dollars. They're going to grow new stores. People get higher salaries, CEOs, that sort of thing. They're going to benefit from your cash. You're going to eat the burger. There's no benefit. That's coming out in the toilet. Okay? So you go out to get Anheuser-Busch and you drink it. They're going to benefit from your money, build a bigger company, more employees, higher CEO salary, more commercials. You're not going to benefit. That's going to come out as piss in the toilet about an hour later. I don't care if you get candy. They're going to benefit with your cash and grow the company bigger. You see? So any place that you use cash, the person on the other end is going to benefit. You're not, because those things can be gone away. You smoke dope. The drug dealer is going to benefit from that cash. You can expand his business. You see? You're going to smoke it up. It goes up to air. Cigarettes goes up to air. So anything you have to take your money to in exchange for something you think you desire, you're not going to benefit from that. So when you use your cash on a woman that has a vagina, you exchange for money, she's going to take that cash and benefit from that. She's going to grow her wealth. In the long run, take your home and your child and your car, etc., your bank account, but she's going to benefit from your cash. Because a person under addiction cannot even understand that you're letting your cash go out of your life and your wealth go out in exchange for what you are addicted to. It doesn't matter whether it's sex, cocaine, alcohol, I don't care what it is, pills. Your cash is always going to go out of your hand to somebody else's hand. They're going to benefit from your cash. When your addiction is over with and you get your senses, the second awakening after the divorce, you're like, oh, what the hell? I must have been asleep. Yes, you were asleep. The person used you. All your cash is gone, and everything they gave you, if she gave you sex 10 years ago, you can't feel that. If you ate a McDonald's burger 10 years ago, you can't feel that today. You smoked cigarettes 10 years ago, you won't be able to feel that today. So addiction is only temporary, okay? They're not long range. Okay, so if you can place sex in the category of an addiction, then surely you should lose similar like any other addiction. So imagine if you put having sex with her in the category of addiction. You go back for it all the time. I gotta have it. She feels so good. And guys love pussy. Once they have it and the girl is right and it fits, they're going back every day, 3 times a day. So say you are addicted to her vagina. You're addicted to sex. So if we put that in the category of an addiction, then you should also lose like an addiction. Remember, let's use something like cocaine. You can say marijuana to a lesser extent. Let's say alcohol. Let's say cigarettes. Let's say dope. I mean hard dope as an addiction. Now, under all those things, the final judgment will be loss. You may wake up when you're in Skid Row in the street, pawning things that you stole. But under the addiction, the same way. So if you're addicted to her vagina, it's the same way like you're addicted to cocaine. By the time you finish that habit, you would have pawned everything in your house. They will come to repossess your house because you never made a payment. They will come to take your car away. The state will take your children away. So you lose the same amount with a woman that is not really loving you as you would with the hard addiction. So let me tell you something, brother. If you're addicted to a woman for sex and you're trying to get a relationship out of that, it's not going to work. You see, even cocaine, alcohol, and those other things, some people feel uplifted by that. It makes them feel warm inside from where they had pain in the past. So those addictions work because we love those things. Having sex with women, men love that thing. So there's always love with addiction. Addictions aren't painful. Pulling away from addictions are painful. You pull away from cocaine habit, that's going to be painful. You pull away from alcohol habit, that's going to be painful. You pull away from having sex constantly with a woman that you say you love, that's going to be painful. Okay? Let's move on. If you were addicted to cocaine, would you have a new baby while you were addicted to cocaine? Say you were heavily addicted to cocaine. Would that be the right time to go out and have a baby? If you were heavily addicted to alcohol, would that be a right time to go out and have a baby? If you were heavily addicted to any kind of drug that's tearing down your life, would that be a right time to go have a baby? Then why is it that you would go out with a female and have a baby, and she's the same type of addiction, and lose everything you have to that woman while you're under that addiction. Okay. And similarly, you wouldn't take on a payment to a Jaguar and try to do cocaine at the same time, because they're coming to get the car. Okay? So, let's go. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. There's a lot to be gained by the world of your properties while you're under any addiction. Okay? So when you're under an addiction, just like her, sex and vagina, and she pretended she loved you, there's a lot for the world to be gained. I don't care if say you don't have addiction at all, and you're desperate for money, so you take your TV out to the pawn shop. You take your car and you do one of these things where they give you title for your cash for your title. See, while you're under any kind of duress or an addiction, the whole world can gain from you. So you're under a cocaine addiction, ultimately you're going to sell your car. The world's gained from that. Your TV, your stereo, whatever is it, they're going to gain from that. You're not going to gain. So when you're in addiction of a female, the world is going to gain from your property. She'll make you sell your stuff for her, your car, your TV, whatever it is, until she has gained all the wealth or material properties from a department store or the mall from your wealth. You say she's your addiction, then she wants to be treated like the addiction. You have to keep paying into addiction. There's no certain thing where you could pay like $100 for cocaine and the guy gives you like a whole year supply of it. No, it's designed to run out so you can get more of it. Okay? So ask yourself, when she leaves, have you lost, when she finally walks away from you and you're broke, ask yourself, when she leaves, have you lost her or all of your worldly possessions? Okay? So say she just went out the door. She didn't just go out the door. Why does all your property is destroyed? You're penniless. Or she kept your home and kicked you out. The government and the police kick you out. Why did you lose all your possessions once she left? But when she left, what did she lose? You. And as a male, females believe that males can always be replaced. So you can replace human beings in this modern day, but you cannot replace those possessions. Because most guys build up their career before they get with a woman. So when they lose, they've lost a great amount. Nobody wants to be at 40 and start back at 18 again at McDonald's. So when she leaves, what have you lost? Not just her. A lot of guys think I lost her. You lost everything. But when she leaves, what has she lost? Nothing. As a matter of fact, she gained. Okay, there are 4 loves that make up the human condition, and sex is just one of them, and the lowest of all, I would tell you. So there's 4 loves. So if you've seen in my tapes before, if you're reading my books, there's 4 loves that make up humanity. Now, a lot of guys don't know this, and so that's why they get fucked every time they get in relationships. So there's 4 loves, and I start from the bottom. There's eros, there's philia, there's storge, and there's agape, and those are from the Greek. So the most bottom base love there is in humanity is eros love. It's the bottom one, eros love. You hear it in the word erotic love. So that's sexual love or attraction love. And so all humans meet. When you meet that girl when you first saw her, block away and she had a nice ass, that sort of thing, that was erotic love. Erotic love shuts down the frontal lobe, the part of the brain that you use to think about logically, should I do this? It just shuts it down. So you say, I love her. I love her. Look at her butt. Look at her tits. And it shuts that down. So most guys get into a relationship with women under eros love. See? And it blinds them. So that 30 days you should be holding out. Don't get into that so quick. So they get into that and it blinds them. If you could just wait. Now the second love is philia love. As in the words Philadelphia, philia love. Or, see, Philadelphia is called a city of brotherly love or friendship. So friendship is where communication comes in at. And most relationships that start in eros love or sexual loves never make it to communication. If you live with your parents, you know they were fighting all the time for years and sometimes violently because they never had philia love. So you can have sex with somebody 50 years sideways and call it a marriage document. But they never communicated with each other. Only real relationships communicate with each other. You have to move up to the next level. The third love, and 1, 2, 3, is storge love, and that's the love that two parents have for a child. See, if you fold a child into a relationship, the child is not the relationship. The child comes after the parents, not before. Anybody told you that? It's a bunch of bullshit. It takes 2 people to make one. The child cannot make the 2 parents. So the child is folded into the love. Not the child is not the idol of the love. So if y'all two get along in a good filial love, then you fold a child in. Now you got 3 people loving each other. Now you got a home. If you didn't do it that way, you got a broken home where people, the wife pays homage to the child and the husband pays homage to the wife. Love will go downhill, but nobody benefits. In the long run, you're going to be broken up anyway, and so is your finances. The last love is agape love, the fourth, the highest. That's the love that says that God has for man, and man is supposed to give to each other. So even if you didn't believe in God, it's that highest love where somebody gives their life for another soldier in a war. Where you have real empathy for people that has nothing to do with sex. Agape love is the opposite of sex. Opposite of sex. It's the top. So most relationships don't trend to this one. Now the reason I told you that is because you have to have these 4 loves within a woman before you can even think about marrying her. So this is the test, brother. If you can find out whether she has these 4 loves, you're going to make it. Don't just concentrate on one love. You can tell over 30 days if she has 4 loves. Okay, so let's go through the 4 loves, which I did a minute ago, and I'm going to go through them all throughout till we finish, and you can test her on that. Okay, so if she comes to you with sex, that's fine. So we could check that one off. We're looking for the 3 to see if she's going to fail in the 3. If she has filial love, if she communicate with you, if she could take care of children, and she could take you home and love you for real. When you at your worst, when she can say, I forgive you. That's what agape love is. Somebody can say, I forgive you. And they don't keep it forever. I remember what you did to me 12 years ago. I'm never going to forget it. That sort of thing. So imagine if you had a newborn infant. Would you invite a vindictive, manipulative lady of the night, a prostitute, in to babysit that child? So say you and your wife had a baby. Okay? And I'm talking about young special needs baby, little baby, and you and her wanted to go out to movies that night. Would you invite would you invite a manipulative, vindictive prostitute into your home to watch that child while you and her went to movies? No. Then why would you marry that type woman and then have a baby with her and think things are going to work out right? See, because you didn't test over the 30 days, that's why you got married to her. That's why you brought her into your house, and then she broke your window, she bleached your clothes, she scratched your car, burnt your house down, told lies to your employer, got you fired. The 30-day test, no woman can pass that. She passed that, you can marry her. Okay. So, then why would you marry a woman with all those qualities like I said before? Let's move on. Okay. Sex is only a bodily function. So that love at the bottom, that eros love, is only actually a bodily function. See, nobody ever died because they lacked that bodily function, sex at the bottom. There's never been nobody in the history of humankind that died, dropped dead, because they went from birth to death without having sex. See, but the last 3 you will die from. The next one, look at filial love, communication. You never had people that would talk to you or care about you. Somebody commits suicide. Storge love, which is the love that parents give to their child. It's folded into. Somebody didn't have good parents and they were abused and they were neglected. Then somebody has a detrimental or destructive life from that. That agape love, that highest one, that I said that God has for man and people are supposed to give to each other. People can go their whole life never receiving that. And these are people who go into places shooting it up, jumping off bridges, killing themselves. So eros love at the bottom is the only one where it is a bodily function. And let's talk about bodily functions for a minute. So I clarify, you do not get into a relationship with no woman for no bodily function, because sex is the only thing you get from everybody on the planet. Okay? Men and women alike, and you can do it with your hand and a pornographic video. So if sex is in a bodily function, when you have to pee, that's a bodily function. When you have to poop in the bathroom, that's a bodily function. When your nose runs or you have to sneeze, it's a bodily function. When you have to eat, that's a bodily function. Every orifice you have is a bodily function. But you cannot go without wasting. You cannot go without peeing. You cannot go without eating. Those things you will die from. You will die from. But the last orifice that you have, if you don't have that, you will not drop over dead. So you don't want to start a relationship that's based on a bodily function, because you could do that with your hand, you could do it with the pornographic film, prostitute could do it for you, anybody will guarantee outside do it for you. Okay, so you could always replace the last one, the eros, the sexual one, but you could not replace that with people. See, philia love is friendship. How many real friends you got? When you got in trouble, how many people could you pick up that phone and call and talk to? Not many, right? What about storge love? How many people had good parents and how many people had some fucked up parents? Okay? That agape love. How many people you went your whole life, you never seen anybody who was real religious. They just faking it. They go to that church and they leave all them so-called sins to the side. And when they leave that church, they pick them sins up on the way out. Okay? So the top three are real human beings. The bottom you get with anybody. So guys get into a relationship with that girl with the arrows at the bottom. And then when they're like, damn, this woman is not even real. This woman is 100% fake. That's right. She's fake because you can only fake the last three for under 30 days. But it will come out for real. I'll give you some more tests. Okay. So, and the second thing you want to do is ask yourself, does she compartmentalize herself? So you might have thought when you seen her, she was a great woman for a few phony reasons. Such as, when you were with her, you seen the way she was talking to her friend. She was a nice person. People seemed to like her. That was philia love. But not with you. You seen her when she was talking to little children and she was so cute with the children outside. But that was not for you. You might have seen her go to church and pray or believe in God or whatever. But that was outside the home. That was not with you. Ask yourself, what is the only love she shared with you? The last eros love. Sexual love. So some people are so disconjointed that they compartmentalize their whole human psyche into 4 different people. But a relationship with 2 people that choose to be together, you're supposed to use all 4. Sex, communication, children, higher calling. Okay? So if she's compartmentalizing her love out to different places and you witnessed that, you thought you married the right person. But even when you get with her, date her in your house and marry her, she's still going to compartmentalize those loves in 4 different directions. You won't be receiving that. How many times you had a girl that never cooked a meal for you, but she makes a dish for the office and takes it to the office? And I taught that class a long time ago. A lot of guys got food this way because this liberation, I have no problem with that. But there's no form of liberation where, say a woman says, I'm not going to clean for him. He thinks I'm going to clean his house. And then she goes to work, and at her job, they tell her to clean 21 hotel rooms that day, or she's fired. Say she says, I'm not going to cook for my husband. And then she goes to a restaurant, and she has to cook over 600 meals for the customers a day. You can't find me one career move that they've given women where at home she is failing at that. See, most of us fail at what we're already good at. Most of us fail for what we're already good at. So if a wife says, I can't give you a ride to work, but yet she rides a bus every day, which takes over 800 people back and forth. You see? So life is pretty funny. Whatever service you provide outside of the home, that's what your home is going to be lacking. Okay, so let's move on. See, women simply do not want to fail at what they're professionals at. That's why they're out in the workforce today. So they don't want to fail at something they are not good at. And they know in this day and age that they are better at their jobs and careers over loving a child or being a real mom or being a real wife. So they prefer to do that instead of being a real spouse. That's why you got more women who are CEOs today or corporate people than you have moms. Okay? So they'd rather not fail at something they're not good at, because if a girl is raised to be an unloving woman, or they just raise girls to be boys today, then there's no way she can transition into being in a relationship with a guy or having children, because those are loves for real, man. You cannot have love with your child. So if you invite that woman in and she's only a sex-based relationship, that's not going to help the child, you see? And you can't have sex when you're 80 years old in the hospital dying of a disease. So a relationship is long range. We get into it for a momentary thing, but it's a long range. So the most guys, and what happens is we switch up. So when guys get in a relationship with a female, he's more sex focused. And when a woman gets in a relationship with a guy, she fakes that she want to have sex. You see? So it fools them. But men do something strange. If they get in a relationship and say they marry, after they marry, they decide they want to take care of this woman. So they transition from merely sex to doing the right thing. A woman transitioned from pretending to do the right thing when she met him to sex based only. Not giving him sex, but sex is the lowest level. This is where all lies originate. You give somebody disease as a liar in sex. You see? You can fool them into a relationship. It's where all lies occur at the bottom. Sex based. Eros love is where all the lies occur. Okay? I'm on the pill. I don't have a disease. This is my first time. So you won't have that at the philia level or the storge level or agape level. You know, you better call somebody out for that. Okay, so let's move on. So what I want you to do, and I'll stop right here, is make sure that you hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell so you know the next video comes along. And at the bottom, I'll put a link to some of the books that I write. And make sure you come back to these type classes. But one thing is for sure, you always want to give her that test. Okay? Because I'm sure you guys have been in a lot of relationships where you keep losing, and then you get online and you say, I can't believe that bitch, and she did this to me. You know, I loved her. Yeah, because males initially start out with sex with a woman. Then they change over for love. And women change over from pretending that they love the guy initially to a sex-based relationship. Eros, which is where all lies occurs. And they never graduate to communication, storge love, and agape love. So I'm not saying you're looking for a woman to do all these 4 things on the meat, but in the 30 days you want to see if this woman is good at communicating with you. See if this woman loves children for real. Does she have a babysit in the past? Does she say, I don't want to have no children, I want to mess with my body? Wow. It's not about her having children. She just told you who she was, and you negated that. Because that's about love. Somebody telling you up front, I hate children. I'd rather abort them. You can say that's a choice, that's fine. But she just told you up front. A marriage is all for love. So if you want to negate that one, you're going to start negating a lot of them. Does she believe in somebody higher than herself? Or is she the highest person there is? Those things wait 30 days. Nobody can get through 30 days. As males, we just overlook that because every time a male is disappointed with a woman's behavior, what does she do? She has sex with them. Okay? If you live in neighborhoods like I did when I was born, somebody wants to sell drugs, the druggie, what happens when you come down off your high? That's right, he sells you some more marijuana. If you were addicted to alcohol because you're stressed out making it through life, what happens when you come down off of that? You get some more. Okay, if you're addicted to porn, what happens when you go into stress? Now, all addictions mainly take place under stress. Okay, so you're not managing an addiction. You're not managing your fun. You're actually managing stress. So addictions come on based upon when they were given to you. So say, for example, you had addiction at nighttime. Your addiction occurs at nighttime, midday or the morning. I've been in psychology for years. And that's when the stress was given to you. So you date back to your childhood. If you live in an abusive home that was at nighttime, it was stressed out, you got whippings, that sort of thing. Your mind may forget about that stuff as much, but at nighttime, it uses that to calm down. If you need something to get through your day with, it's all hooked to what you went through when you were young. And you can look back at some of my videos, and you can find out about this stuff. But don't complain anymore when that girl goes out your door with all of your shit because you fell in love with her ass and the pussy felt good. You see? Because if you don't learn from that, you'll go out, polish up the car, get brand new stuff in the house, and prepare to start again. You looking for females. You shopping for agape love from erotic love. That's what you're doing. You're shopping for agape love. Or something you think you would have got from your mother from a girl that doesn't have it. And let me tell you, both genders are set up by their parents. If you had a loving mom, you are screwed if you're looking for a bride. If you have a loving father, you are screwed if you're looking for a loving husband. Why? Because parents set us up for the fall. You got to imagine your parent is the person who sets up the pins at the end of the bowling alley. And the girl you're getting with is the bowling ball. So they set you up and she knocks your ass down. Why? Because your mother was loving, you think all women are loving. If your father was loving, you think all men are loving. You don't even think that was your mother. And in a lot of cases, your mother was more loving to you than she was her own husband. Because love flows downhill. Men love women, women love children. Children love themselves. It doesn't flow uphill. See, children find a hard thing to support a mother who's supporting them every damn day of the week. They can't even say thank you. Women find a hard thing every day of the week of just saying thank you to a guy that's supporting them for 90 years straight. You see? It just doesn't flow uphill as well as it flows down. So if you want love and relationship, you go ahead and start it with a piece of ass. And think she's going to be agape Mother Teresa. It's not going to fucking happen. Give it a 30 days. And I'll see you guys back here next time. Enjoy. And stop trying to make a hoe into a housewife. See you guys soon.
Today on The Man's Kitchen, are you tired of boring spaghetti with meat sauce? We're making spicy meatballs with linguine. Come join us. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to The Man's Kitchen. Today we're doing what happens when you don't have spaghetti sauce in the house. But you do have the ingredients to make your own version of spaghetti sauce, and one much better. So we're going to do spaghetti with meat. Alright, you ready? Let's go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have, instead of spaghetti today, we have linguine. Linguines are just a little more flat, or broader in the family of spaghetti. And it's much better tasting. So I've got a pot of water, about 60% full right there. And I'm ready to add that as soon as that starts to boil. And also I have in the pan here about a half a stick of butter, because we're going to brown that spaghetti. Now these are different spaghetti balls because they're going to be chopped. Okay, so something new you might not have seen before. All right, so we're ready. So what we're going to do in a bowl like this is we're going to add a half teaspoon of garlic, a half teaspoon of mustard, a half teaspoon of parsley, a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a half teaspoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. That's your ingredients. Look at the magic of the shake. All right, shake all those together. Down into the bowl. And let us begin. Now, also we're going to add about a tablespoon of soy sauce just before we put it into the frying pan. All right. So all those are nice and mixed together. Now the only thing we need is to add the meat. So I've got about a pound of ground chuck, and that is about an 80-20%. The best meat to get when you want to do like a burger or you want to do spaghetti is 80-20%. That'd be 80% lean, or the red part of the meat, and 20% of the fat of the meat. So every time your butcher makes ground beef, all they do is they take up parts of the cow. It could be anything from the steak, the flank, whatever it is. Any parts they really don't want to sell at a high price, they'll cut those up, add in some of the fat from the cow, and that's how they make ground beef. Okay, so that's almost pretty good. What I'll do at this point is go ahead and add that tablespoon of soy sauce in there. So soy sauce is going to flavor that meat. All right, because we're doing a spaghetti sauce with that. That's more of after the fact. Since we're going to use ketchup, and we're going to use the ranch dressing there. Okay, so we're going to use the regular Heinz ketchup and creamy ranch dressing. Mix those two together. It tastes great. All right, so now I've almost got that nice and coated to where I want it. It's no longer simply red meat. Now there's flavor through and through. Now, if you wanted to make meatballs with that, you could take something like that tablespoon right there, and you could make put the meat in there and make it round up as much as it rounds down. You have a perfect meatball. We're not going to do that today. We're doing something different. All right, now that I'm ready, you can take it out of the pan. Like we mixed it in, and see that's just about ready. So we're going to take that, we're going to roll it out. We want a nice round log, even log. So you can make spaghetti meatballs in different ways. But this one's different. So I'm going to take half of that away. Because what I want to do is I want to roll it almost to a quarter in size. Like a regular quarter you have in your pocket. And one thing about cooking, everything happens at the same time. So you have to be ready to move right along. All right, now roll the other one, about the same diameter. I'd say a little bit bigger than a quarter. Depends on which country you're looking at the quarter. This is almost a 50-cent piece here. All right, now that I got that where I want it, square up the sides. We start to cut it. Cut it about a 1/2 inch. Now do the same with the other. Now we're going to hand roll those. This is just for measurement purposes. There's no F grade when measuring because you're cooking for yourself or your friends. You're not cooking for Julian Childs. Okay, so we take them, we start to roll them and put them in the pan. And watch out, the pan is always popping. It's always pleasant. Now I know where the hot spots on this pan are, so you see me putting it around the side. That water is almost ready for the linguine. Linguine or spaghetti doesn't make a difference. You do it to your, whether you like it al dente, which is not always done, or you like it gummy, like a lot of kids do with their mom. It's up to you. Some of these meatballs are smaller. That's not a real biggie. Okay, so it looks like we're going to do everything at the same time. We're going to go ahead and finish these up. And we'll move to making the sauce. And when you make sauce for the meat, you don't have to make a lot of sauce. Only when you're a kid do you do all that sauce. You soak it in sauce. In this case, you don't have to do that. It's a big matzo ball there, isn't it? Alright, that's a little small one. That's going to take these a little bit of time. You want to do them till they're cooked, not till they're burnt. Wash my hands. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. The linguine is about ready to go in there. Just take it all in one lump sum, put it down in there. When it gets hot, it will fall in there naturally. So now we're going to work on the sauce. We're going to take approximately almost 2 cups of ketchup. Which is pretty much going to drain that. Alright, that's just what I need. And probably a little bit over a cup of the ranch dressing. Alright. We go ahead and mix those around. And because those two are mixed together, that ketchup will no longer taste like ketchup, and that ranch dressing will no longer taste like ranch. It'll taste like a combination of something that's real good. It tastes good enough for when you was a child. You ask your mama, can I lick the spoon? Okay, so now we got the meatballs going. We got the linguine in the fire. We got the meatballs almost ready to flip over. We'll go ahead and do the magic of television, cook it, we come back so you can see what it's like to eat something good that doesn't come from McDonald's. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Guess what? We're back. Everything turned out pretty nicely. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the sauce on it, plate it, and eat it. Come on. Okay, so you've seen the sauce. I put in a clean bowl because I'm gonna mix the spaghetti. The meatballs are going in that sauce. So I want the sauce to be on the bottom of the bowl because we're gonna add that in directly from the heat. Okay, the linguine is done. So linguine is done. It's nice, just where I like it. So we're gonna do, see that's hot. Maybe want to play around with hot stuff. We're gonna take that out of there. We're gonna add them directly into the sauce. Now the reason that if you're doing real good spaghetti, the flavor's in the meat, not necessarily in the sauce. If you were doing this with spaghetti sauce, you could actually get any variety of bland spaghetti sauce, and you put so much seasoning to the actual meatballs that it will make the sauce taste real good. Okay, so we got that in there. A little oil won't hurt. Thins it out nicely. All right, so we'll go ahead and start to stir. And it's a good thing if you had a heat-resistant bowl, which this is, for this purpose. Okay, so we got that all mixed around, and that's nice and hot, so those meatballs actually made that sauce nice and hot like we like it. We'll go ahead and plate up some linguine. Okay. We'll go ahead and put some of those meatballs on top of that. A little bit of sauce. You don't need a lot of sauce. That ruins the whole aspect of having a linguine. Unless you're one person that likes all that sauce. Like when you were a kid. Mom, can you put so much sauce in there I can't see the spaghetti or linguine? Okay, so there we have it. Go ahead and chop it in half. Now, you easily know when that's ready. If you're wondering whether the meat was ready, just take one when it's on the heat and slice it in half, safely. That's a plenty good. It's what the marshmallows will say. The linguine is nice. I don't like mine's al dente. Well done is good. The mushy's not so good. That's good. Go out, do something special for yourself today, make that sauce. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. It's 5 o'clock on a planet somewhere, and we're about to get our drink on. Welcome to the Man's Baltic. Today on The Man's Bartender, we're making hard iced tea. Stick around. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to The Man's Bartender. Today, we're going to do hard iced tea. Hard iced tea. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of seltzers today that come along in a hard iced tea, and some that are not. So for this recipe, we're gonna need a lemon. That's gonna give it, you can't have good iced tea without lemon. So we're gonna flavor with lemon, and we're gonna decorate the glass at the top with the iced tea. We're gonna have a little maraschino cherries and juice to give it a little sweet tang. We're using pure leaf brewed iced tea. That's unsweetened. We don't have to have it sweetened because we're gonna add some sweetener to it in the form of simple syrup. We've got 2 regular glasses here. We got Kentucky Gentleman Bourbon. We got Grand Marnier, and that's a liqueur. And we can now start to get it done. So the first thing we're going to do is use a barrel shaker. Now you might notice it's chilled at the bottom because that's the level that the ice that I have already within that barrel shaker. We try to be ready in advance, Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we want to done past tense, is we want to go ahead and add some of that Kentucky bourbon to there. All right, so we're going to use, what is it? Let's go ahead and put 4 ounces of the Kentucky bourbon in there. And we're going to use 2 ounces of the Grand Marnier. We don't need any more than that to make it, to spike that tea. Now that is for 2 persons, the recipe I just gave you. Now to that, what we want to done is we want to take those maraschino cherries, go ahead and mash them with the masher. There we go. That's to get the juice out and the flavor out of those maraschino cherries. Alrighty, that's done. Switch it around, that goes in there. That's going to add some flavor to that tea. Okay? Now the next thing we want to do, we're almost there. What we need now is the lemon that's going to garnish these 2 glasses when we're done. So you see me in a minute rolling it. That makes it softer because we're going to need the juice from that as well. But you always take your center cuts. Excuse me a minute. Good thing that we always keep that studio floor nice and clean. You take the center cut from that. That's 1. And there be 2. Now from there we want to cut a little notch. I've told you guys before, when you have a cut like that, make a notch in the middle all the way up to the center. So we make a knot, we cut the notch all the way up to the center. And then you could take out another little small wedge in that, just enough of a wedge to fit on the glass. Okay? Same thing with the other one. Sometimes they like to work. Sometimes these decorations for these glasses go on strike and they don't like to work and make you look like a bumbling idiot. And I'm not far from that now. So what I like to do a lot of time anyway, I don't worry about whether it's on the glass. You could take it and put it in the glass. It is just as classy. Okay? Class up the joint when you invite your friends over. Okay, so we can take the rest of that lemon, we'll put it, squeeze it in there, and that's a half a lemon. Just rotate and squeeze. Rotate and squeeze. Rotate and squeeze. Okay? There we have it. So we got the Grand Marnier in there, we got the Kentucky bourbon in there. Now we add the tea. 70% of the way to the top, we need some room left to shake. If we have the room left to shake, it's not going anywhere. Now remember, the whole purpose of shaking is not just to have fun with it, but you're also going to get the ingredients to mix by going from the bottom to the top with the ice. Bottom to the top, bottom to the top. So shake it out. Before we close that up, we have a sweetener. I told you before. And that sweetener would be the simple syrup. So we're gonna add about half a cup of that simple syrup. Now we can shake it up. Here we go, speed of an engine. Round and round, shake it over where to stop, nobody knows. Make sure you go from the bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top, bottom to the top. Now you notice that the shaker gets nice and cold. You can see it at home, but for me here, my hand. Now remember, you can do it like this. As long as you have that barrel shaker lid, where it won't go off. Nobody wants that. Or you can do it with the palm of your hand. As long as those ingredients go from one end to the next, one end to the next, one end to the next. Some people do it behind their back. Okay? We do that for about a minute. Some people twist it. One-handed. And we're done. Okay, so we take the lid off, and out comes, you see that? Now that will settle almost clear in a minute, but the reason you see that coloring is because I added the maraschino cherries. As always to you guys, enjoy. You don't get no better than that. Stick around. We'll be right back. I hope to see you back next time on The Man's Bartender. Join me each week, and we're going to be making some great drinks, some crazy drinks, and stuff that you can prepare for your friends at a party where it looks like you've been a bartender for a long time.
And now we bring you Killer Wives, episode 12, Self-Defense. These are the case facts against Colleen McKernan, who shot her husband 10 times. Isn't trust a bitch? Canton, Ohio, the birthplace of the OJs, headquarters for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and the murder of one Mr. Rob McKernan.
Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant. You have a callback for 86 into Central? Negative K, nothing further. Just see the cabbie on the corner.
I care less about what you think of me and more about what I think of me. Abundance coming easily, I'm tapped into that frequency. What you think of me ain't none of my business. What you think of me ain't none of my. What I spark don't get you lit, so why you give a shit? Talking out your ass, we revoke your membership. Falling off the cliff, hope you niggas get a grip. It's enough to go around if you tune into the sounds. Tap into the universal laws to get it all. You already have it in you, but you hold it and you stall. We ain't gotta die to see heaven, we can live it. If you want something, gotta be willing to give it. Not for the return, purely for the feeling. Take some time to get a line of structures that we building. Expansion we increase cause we have to. Thank God every day and your mama cause she had you. She really